The Riddick universe might not be as elaborately developed as some other sci-fi franchises, but it still features intriguing details that add depth to its world. One such detail is the mysterious race of the Furians, to which the protagonist Richard B. Riddick belongs. For a long time, he was thought to be nearly the only survivor of his kind, but this turned out not to be the case. The Furians were a unique people with their own peculiar culture and history. They held many secrets, which I would like to explore with you in this video. The Furians are one of the 4 ancient races in the Riddick universe, which likely evolved from humans and acquired impressive physical and mental abilities through adaptation to Furia, a harsh and hostile planet where they settled. At the beginning of the Riddick franchise, Furia is considered by many to be either dead or cursed. However, this was not always the case. Furia, a world in the Furian system, was once the home planet of the Furians, a thriving race of spiritual warriors. The planet had an eccentric orbit, which made mapping it difficult. It was also considered cursed, which is why it was seldom visited. Some speculated that Furia might have been a volcanically active planet due to its eccentric orbit, which likely caused fluctuations in tidal and geological forces, creating harsher conditions and forcing any life forms to adapt and become more resilient, including the humans who settled there. These people, adapting to Furia's tough conditions, eventually evolved into a practically new race, the Furians. They became much more resilient and resistant to external influences as they had to adapt to the harsh climate, landscape, and dangerous nature of their home world. Nevertheless, perhaps the most distinctive feature of the Furians was their incredible legacy as powerful, skilled, spiritual warriors. The true capabilities of the Furians were kept secret from other races, but some information became known. While it might be a stretch to call Furians superhumans, they demonstrated remarkable feats of strength, pain tolerance, and endurance even at a young age. In most cases, their muscles operated with greater strength than is typically observed in even athletically built humans. Furians could also recover from significant injuries that would have crippled most people. Such abilities primarily developed due to the dangers of their home planet, Furia, which likely required great physical and mental strength to colonize and thrive in such an environment. Riddick also possessed a capability known as the Furian Wrath. Essentially, this term defines the collective pain and anger of billions of Furians who died during a conflict with the Necromongers. Riddick used this ability against Vako and his squad of Necromonger hunters. The Furian Wrath was a powerful energy burst that killed many soldiers, except Vako and the Purifier, who was himself a converted Furian. Riddick also used this technique against Abbott and other prison wardens at the Butcher Bay Correctional Facility following an interrogation. At least some of the Furians seemed to have the ability to transfer energy to one another. For instance, Shira awakened the Furian Wrath within Riddick and left a handprint on his chest, similar to an aura. Riddick also discovered a similar imprint on the chest of the Necromonger Purifier. The extent of a Furian's physical abilities remains unknown. Riddick himself withstood particularly strong bioraptors. He also quickly reset his arm after it was dislocated. Riddick also demonstrated the ability to dislocate his own shoulders when he needed to escape while being shackled. Incredible joint mobility could have been a common trait among Furians, or a unique skill of Riddick himself. Riddick was also shown to be agile and athletic, moving surprisingly quickly for someone of his size and weight, capable of covering great distances and not tiring like ordinary people. He could also jump impressive distances and perform almost impossible physical exercises that most people would find difficult to replicate. One potentially unique feature of the Furians was a tapetum-like glowing layer in their eyes, similar to Riddick's, which provided him with night vision. It is unknown whether all Furians had eyes like Riddick's, as this feature was not visible in some of them. When Riddick was still an infant, a powerful Necromonger commander named Xylaw led a merciless genocidal attack on Furia in an attempt to alter his destiny, which had been foretold by a seer from the elemental race. According to the prophecy, Xylaw was to be killed by a young Furian. One day, to prevent this, The Necromonger commander decided to completely annihilate the Furians and attacked them. The Furians themselves were experienced and formidable warriors. According to Vako, who was a veteran of the Purge of Furia, every Furian warrior fought to the last breath, each killing 100 Necromongers with weapons and another 30 with bare hands. But the enemy was too strong and numerous, and the Furians failed to save their race from extinction. Despite the brave and initially fierce resistance of the Furians, the war on Furia wiped out almost the entire population of the planet. The few survivors were turned into Necromongers by Xylaw, and they ceased to be Furians. However, some did manage to survive, Little Riddick and possibly a Furian named Shira. Although Shira's existence is somewhat ambiguous, she often communicated with Riddick via telepathic connection, and it was unclear whether Riddick was communicating with another surviving Furian or simply with the spirit of a Furian. Nevertheless, the planet Furia was deserted, but in the future, the Furians were destined to take revenge. Interestingly, Riddick was not the only representative of his people shown in the franchise. There were at least a few other interesting Furian characters. The Butcher, a particularly dangerous criminal. He committed many crimes until he was captured by mercenaries working for Antonia Chillingsworth. After his capture, he became one of the frozen specimens in her collection, marked as the Furian the Butcher. During a tour of the ship, Riddick saw the Furian and learned the term, but did not know what it meant or where he had heard it. Presumably, he is still on the Hublai Khan ship in a frozen state, although there is no crew there now, and it just drifts in space. Shira, a Furian who helped Riddick. Shira has been appearing to Riddick ever since he was operated on in the Butcher Bay Correctional Colony. It is unclear whether she was actually a living being or a spirit. Usually she talked to him in dreams, cryogenic and hypnotic visions. Through these dreams and visions, Shira awakened dormant abilities in Riddick, such as Eye Shine and Furian Wrath. Shira spoke to Riddick, manipulating him to take control of the Necromonger Empire and avenge the slaughter of the Furians, killing the perpetrator of the slaughter, Lord Marshal Xylaw. When Riddick killed Xylaw and took control of the Necromongers, Shira's goals became unknown. The Purifier, a Furian turned Necromonger. The Purifier is a title in the Necromonger Empire. His role was to convert people into Necromongers to replenish their ranks. This high rank, Dame Vako suggested that the Purifier would be second in significance only to the Lord Marshal. Being a member of the Necromonger fleet, the Purifier revealed that he was once a Furian, like Riddick, and had been converted to the new faith. When Riddick lost consciousness after using Furian Wrath, the Purifier saved him and then told him that all Necromongers were once someone else. Regretting what he had done under the influence of the Necromongers, the Purifier warned Riddick not to meet with the Lord Marshal, but the Furian in him hoped Riddick would not listen. Having said this, he ended his own life by stepping into the sunlight of crematoria. Riddick, as the last representative of his people, nevertheless, fulfilled his destiny. He killed Xylaw and headed the Necromonger Empire, becoming the new Lord Marshal. He demanded his new subordinates take him to his homeland, Furia, but they deceived him. Riddick was dropped on another dangerous planet and left there to die, but the resilient Furian survived and returned to settle scores. His goal remained the same, to find out what remains of his homeland, Furia. The further story will be shown in the upcoming film, which is already in development. It is quite likely that we will see more representatives of this people and learn how the story of the Furians ends. Because, judging by the leaked information about the plot and some posters, the main secret of the Furians is that they are not extinct, and Riddick may still have kin. And that's all for now. If you like this video, don't forget to rate it, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell. Your activity is the best reward for me. Thanks for watching, see you soon, bye.